I learned at an early age, like I was a different type of person. And it started off with my mama. And I knew my mama didn't fuck with me because she never bought none of my school pictures. Yeah. Look at that nigga. Your mama didn't buy your shit either? You got one, that display picture. Yeah, look out. That's what's up. How old are you? This nigga forgot. 47. Okay. You black? That nigga Korean. Hold on, look. Stand up, y'all. Look, show him. Look, turn around. Stand up. Just stand up real quick. Turn around. He Korean. This nigga not black. Nigga eyes like this. But look, nah, he can relate. But my mama, she never bought my school pictures. And it was, cause you know, back in the day, you can pick the background and all that. You gotta pack it. And my mama never bought mine. And I used to ask her, like, why you ain't bought my school pictures? And she's like, you still growing into your looks. And I'm like, bitch, I look just like you. She's bald-headed. The thing about just accepting that, like, bro, it made me, you know, realize, like, I'm different. Cause at school, I'm, you know, figuring out who I am through school. And in school, it was different because I wanted to be, like, you know, popular. So I used to force myself and have friends. And I used to just want to be friends and have friends. And people didn't really, you know, fuck with me. And my mama, she came into my school and she talked to me and she said, we're gonna have a meeting. And y'all know back in the day, we had a counselor. We sit down with our counselor. Counselor, shut up. That was a white person. You racist, don't do that shit. Don't correct me. And I sat down with them and they told, you know, they told my mama, and my mama sat me down with, you know, him and the principal, and they said I was dyslexic. Did they? Her kid's slow. That ain't funny. Look, her son going through that shit right now. That's not funny. And being dyslexic, I struggle with. That's not funny. Being dyslexic, I struggle with. I struggle with reading and spelling. And my sister Kiki, she was smart. And Kiki is my little sister. And somehow, my sister loved me so much, we ended up in the same grade. And I'm wondering, I'm like, how did I, you know, get in the classroom with her? And I got held back. Me getting held back, it put a lot on me. And I actually, you know, started that rule, no child left behind, because I was the first motherfucker that got held back. And I'm like, damn, this teacher loved me. And it get to the point where they can't held you back so long, it's like he need help. And my mama, she said, look, we gonna change your school, we gonna put you in a better school, and this school is gonna help you. And I listened to her, I said, this school is gonna help me. And I remember y'all getting dressed, and my mama said, you're gonna wear a uniform now. And Kiki's a stud. Kiki was putting that shit on. She can dress. Studs can dress their ass off. And Kiki putting on her school clothes. And I put on my uniform. And I'm like, okay, this is different. And we went out to catch our bus. And I'm sitting there, y'all, and I remember I'm waiting for me and Kiki to get on the bus. And when that bus came, Kiki got on the bus and I tried to walk. And my mama said, yours coming. Yours coming. She smoked her cigarette with her robe, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why I gotta ride a different bus? And y'all, when this bus came, this motherfucker backed up and backed in and parked. I'd never seen a bus park. And this motherfucker had 6 windows, and when I got on the bus, y'all, I walked through, and I sit down in my seat, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is going on? This feels different. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why this, it just don't, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like, lonely. And the bus driver, she fixed the mirror. And she looked at it and she said, look, I ain't got time to be playing with nobody kids. And we're gonna do this, we're gonna have a good school year. Come on, Tom, don't start no shit on here, don't be cussing, don't do none of that shit. Y'all gonna respect me. And I look around, I'm like, bitch, I'm the only one on here. when I got to the school, y'all, it's connected to my regular school. It's connected to it. So I'm like, what is this? And it's the alternative school. The alternative school is where the bad kids had to go, and they had a little selection for the slow kids that they called it. It was called CARE. And when I got in there, y'all, I walk in there, and I'm looking around, and it's two teachers. Miss Collins was the white lady, Mr. Harris was the black dude, and it was a dog named Trix. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what is going on? And I get in there, Miss Collins, she looked at me with her blue eyes. You know, white people always say their eyes change colors and shit when they get around water. But Miss Collins looked at me with her blue eyes and she said, look, and she wrote down on this piece a sticky note and she put it right on my chest. And I look at it and I'm looking at it and she said, it says your name. And I looked back at her and said, bitch, I know my name. And she said, the others don't. And when the other kids start coming in, it was a kid named Delshana and a kid named Donnie. And when Donnie came in the room, y'all, was something off about him. And he walked real slow and he had his little hand and he'd walk in. And his hand kept moving. And he had a regular. And when he came in, y'all, he sat down. And being in a slow school is like prison. People start to find out why you in there. Niggas be like, what are you in here for? What'd he do? What'd he do? What's wrong with him? What's wrong with her? It's like prison. If you ever been in prison, niggas start to find out why you in there. Type shit. So look, being in that class, y'all, I'm trying to figure out what Donnie doing in here, because Donnie could read, and he was different. Donnie could read, and he used to talk shit. And I asked Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris is the black dude, and I'm like, what Donnie doing in here? He artistic. And I'm like, how the fuck can he draw with that hand? And he's like, that ain't what artistic mean. I'm like, how the fuck? I want to see some of his paintings. That shit gonna be all over the place. Delshana was the one, she had Jordans and shit. You know the kid that always come with Jordans, her mama was the drug dealer and shit. This bitch stayed in all the new Jordans. And being in this classroom, y'all, I got exposed while I was in there, and it was time to read. And when you can't read, your heart start beating. It was time for me to read, and my heart started beating. And my heart started beating, and I took my finger out, and I tried to read word by word. And it was just embarrassing. It was embarrassing, and I fell down, depressed. And I'm looking around, everybody just waiting on me to read. They looking at me. And they just looking like, I look down, the dog looking at me. Oh. And it felt bad, y'all, and I'm like, I can't go through this no more. I don't want to do this again. And the second day came, and I knew we was reading this book. We wasn't done with it. It was a Junie B. Jones book. I don't know if y'all know about Junie B. Jones. Yeah, the old niggas know Junie B. Jones. That bitch was bad than a motherfucker. Look, what? But reading that book, y'all, it put a lot on me, and it was the second day we had to read again. And she picked me to read, and I said, look, I'm gonna stand up for myself. And when she said, Marco, it's your time to read, and I stood up, and I looked at Miss Collins in her blue eyes, and I said, bitch, I ain't reading shit. Looked at the dog. And when I stood up for myself, y'all, they put me in the hallway. They took my little desk, and they put me in the hallway. And she said, watch the profanity. No cussing in here. You will be in the hallway every time you cuss. And I said, this is gonna be my way out of reading. But the dogs and the teachers came up with a strategy. And they came up with something called popcorn reading. If y'all know about popcorn reading is where you read and you pick somebody to read. You'll read and you like popcorn and pick whoever you want. And Donnie was reading, Donnie read. And he got to reading and he looked up. Popcorn, Marco. Read it. And he was mad at me because I used to pick on him. Because I gave him a nickname because he had that little arm and the big arm. I called him Clock. I started that clock and shit. So he didn't like me. When he picked me to read, y'all, again, this is now an enemy I got. I don't fuck with Donnie. And I told myself, look, I'm gonna whoop Donnie's ass. And the thing, y'all, about me, one thing about the black culture, sometimes we get our anger issues and how to handle shit from our parents. My daddy was a street nigga, 57th Street road dog. He was a blood. And my daddy was with the shit. So I said, look, I need to show people I'm like my daddy in this classroom. Don't fuck with me. And I said, I'm gonna whoop Donnie ass after school. And our class ended. And I'm waiting on Kiki to get out of class now. And I remember Kiki got out of class. And I went up to Kiki. And I said, look, Donnie exposed me again about reading and I want to do something. She knew about Donnie. He stayed in the same complex as us. And she said, look, if you and Donnie gonna fight, just tell your bus driver that it's gonna be a little bit and just tell him, don't leave you. And I walked to the bus driver. I walked to the bus and I said, look, I'll be right back. I forgot my backpack. And the bus driver looked me dead in my eyes. She said, hurry up. You're the only one on this motherfucker. So hurry up. Fixed her mirror. And I'm walking. I might get into my first fight, and I'm waiting on Donnie. Donnie was a little slow, and he came out. And Donnie came out, y'all, and I called Donnie out, and I said, look, man, you called me to read, and you embarrassed me, and we gonna have to fight. I'm a 90s baby. We got the rule, hit me first, you won't get suspended. And I told Donnie, I said, put your hands on me, I'm gonna whoop your ass.